Hello and welcome to ReefGrrl's weekly reef wrap-up number 5. Here's my husband getting the tank all spick and span. And look what he found when he was cleaning it. Yep, I think we have found the tank maker's signature. I believe this is a squished bee. It was probably alive when the interior Euro brace was installed while they were here at our house. And I can understand how they probably couldn't do anything about it, but still, it's pretty creepy. And fluconazole check. So the fluconazole went in here 2 days ago, and I'm already starting to see some evidence of white bryopsis. It's already starting to deteriorate. Everything in here is looking good though. I'm not seeing any corals reacting to the fluconazole. So once I get the numbers in line again, get the alkalinity normalized, get the magnesium up, get the calcium up, it should be fine. I'm hoping. Okay, so this is the last 4 or 5 inches of my alkalinity dosing hose. And stuff was still getting through here, but I trimmed it off because I've been having some problems with that hose clogging. And so instead of doing like 6 small doses every day, I've gone to 3 larger doses so that more liquid flows at a time. When we're talking about dosing, I also got out my almost new Jabo DP4 because I've noticed that there's air in the lines and I bled them, so now we'll see if it happens again. I suspect the tubing I'm using is just a little too big. So the first thing I'm going to do is swap out this doser for the other one just to make sure it isn't an actual pump problem, like if there's something going on with the pump heads. And then I'm going to go ahead and order tubing that's meant for dosing pumps instead of the tubing I've been using, which is airline tubing. So that could be my mistake right there. Following up from last week's update, I put the barnacles into the sump system. They're down here in the 4th chamber, which technically is the return chamber, along with the rocks that I've been cooking for some months. I hope the barnacles will have time to develop a decent slime coat before they go into the tank, whenever that is. And this is one of those days. I lean over to have a look at how things are going. I inhale, and my reef smells like the ocean. I love when that happens. So the frag tank has flatworms. I've used flatworm exit in here, 16 drops. I've pulled out a bunch using a pipette, and we'll see what happens from here. This will be interesting to see if there's any negative effect on the corals because there's already fluconazole in here. But one thing I wanted to show you is a good news story. This Millipora, you can see the problem. I call it STN because it's taken about 2 weeks for this to proceed to this level. And I'm thinking it's the bad conditions in here that caused this. But look, those green tips, didn't have those 2 days ago. I hope it'll come back and start growing from that point. And if it does, I will just frag that off and put it on a new piece of rock or whatever. Things are looking better than they had been before I discovered the really bad numbers last week. So I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope the flatworm exit works to get rid of the flatworms that are here. The fluconazole works to get rid of the bryopsis and maybe even some of the other algae. And we'll see how things go in the next week or so. So the front half of the stand was picked up on Monday to have some braces installed to support the front edge of the tank. And my husband has begun repairs on the front door. He's filled in the gap behind the door jamb, but he's not going to complete the door jamb until the stand comes back into the house, and maybe even wait until the tank comes in the house. He's making it so that it will be removable. Because you know, what goes in must come out, and at some point, someday, these things will have to come out of here again. So hopefully it'll be much, much easier with a removable door jamb. And when I went to refill my marine flake food, I found this. I forgot I had it. It's a 3D printed fish feeder designed by Mo's Nano Reefs, who has a business called 3D Reefing. He has diffusers and a couple other products. Frozen food or flakes get dropped into that little square area of water, and as it thaws or saturates, the food moves down the chute, out the bottom, and right into the water. And what I love about it is it's a nice steady rate of feeding. You don't get a giant cloud of food dumped into the water and have the fish all bumping into each other trying to get it. It tends to spread out a little more. Plus, hardly any of it goes over the overflow. When it's put into the water down at this level, it gets pushed down. The way it works is it just clamps onto the tank, and the section that has the food in it floats on that little stem. It goes up and down with the water level. It's actually a brilliant design. 3dreefing.com is the website, and you can also find them on Facebook. I didn't see this feeder in their product lineup, but that doesn't mean he won't make them anymore. I've had this since February of 2020, and I think I paid about 20 bucks for it. Well worth the money. I did a water change on both of these tanks tonight. Observation tank got about a 25%, and the water was yellow. And I did a very small water change on this tank because treating with the fluconazole, I know there's been algae that's going to be in the filter. Check this out. This thing is black. Yeah. So I'm glad I did that. And one thing I did want to show you is the algae is really, really disappearing in here. Not completely gone, and what's left is air algae. There's some bubble algae that the foxface hasn't got yet. So I've been manually removing it over here. A lot of the algae's gone. It is coming back a little on that skimmer stand. I've been using razor. I'm on a maintenance dose now. So slowly, look at this. This was all just absolutely covered in algae. So I'm making up some new salt water. And here's another thing I used a big ass funnel for. I put it in the opening here and I just dump the salt in top. I used to pour the salt right in here and it would get all over the cords and everything. Now this funnel allows me to bypass that. Pretty useful. And to rinse out the funnel, I get some RODI water out of here. Not too much. Just enough to pour inside the funnel and rinse it out. There we go. I think that's got her clean. Excellent. And from 100% tropic marin salt I've been using for the past year, I'm going back to a blend of 60% tropic marin and 40% Fritz. When I had the Red Sea tank, this blend worked extremely well, so I'm going back to it. A little more progress has been made on the stand. This backing has been installed. It's Coroplast, which is essentially plastic corrugated cardboard. It's held on here with hooks and loops, and the idea is to hide everything that's going on back here. Electrical and the pipes when they come up. Yeah, that's for when the stand comes back, and someday there might even be a tank on here. Wouldn't that be something? Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, why not give it a thumbs up? If you're interested in staying up to date on my new tank saga, maybe subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Stay safe, everybody, and I'll see you next week.